welcome back to Tahoe today. Of course, right around the corner we've got ski season. Kirkwood, though, has a great mountain bike park. If you're looking to get out there, we almost showed you that clip. We'll get to it a little later in the show, but Tim Cohee in the studio. Thanks for joining us, Tim.
You bet, Brian.
We have a lot of things going on here.
Yep.
And one of the big things kind of in the news already, people are talking about El Nino.
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, something's going on here with the weather forecast. Tell us a little bit about your experience, and number one, how long you've been at Kirkwood, because I think that gives a lot of the history when we get into some of the storytelling we're going to get into.
Well, Brian, this will be 17 years for me. I came here in 1993, and I've also had a stint at Heavenly back in the mid-'80s, so this will be my 20th year in Lake Tahoe. So the one thing that everybody can agree on about winter is they're never the same. And
Absolutely.
this is actually my 36th year in the ski business coming up, so I've never seen two exactly alike. We actually have not had a big winter now since really 2006. 2007, 2008 were pretty lean. Last year, 2009, was actually not bad, but it's still a little bit below average. We were at Kirkwood just under 450 inches. The last big El Nino was really 05, 06.
Okay.
And that's when it really came down. We were powder skiing. We checked the records yesterday. We were skiing from the top of the mountain, powder skiing, on October 22nd in 2005, and we had 756 inches of snow. And I think our day, we had about 192 days of skiing, over 6 months of skiing. And the last day, which was the last Sunday in April, was also 2 feet of fresh powder. So that's what can happen in an El Nino year. So we're looking forward to it.
So what's the indication that people are thinking, okay, this isn't an El Nino type of year? What is it that's saying, you know, giving people that direction?
Well, then virtually every major weather forecast has come out, and what they, of course, they study the trends throughout the summer and the fall. They look at obviously years and years and years of information, and are looking at the tracking of storms, what's happening, the weather patterns throughout the world, basically. And so you have the experts now saying everything is lining up to be an early winter, very heavy, and of course the only issue then becomes temperatures. So if you're going to get the moisture, you hope you get the cold temperatures so that you have, of course, snow, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Absolutely. Okay, now speaking of that, now we're going to back up a little bit and talk about some of the terrain out there at Kirkwood. You guys put in a couple new lifts that opened up some additional terrain last year.
Right.
How'd that work out?
You know, Brian, it was the first time in a long time anybody's opened up, you know, new lift serve terrain, and those are two hike-to areas that have been in Kirkwood's in our ski area since 1972 when we opened 37 years ago, and we were able to access two parts of the mountain that were all previously hike-to only. That would have been Lookout Vista and Covered Wagon Peak. Originally, of course, some of the locals were a little concerned that, well, we're going to take away hike terrain.
Absolutely.
And I think even the diehards came back and called me, and I'd see them on the hill, and they'd say, hey, I have to admit, being able to get up there on a little handle tow, the capacity is very low. They move very slowly. You're only looking at 100 or 200 people per hour.
Okay.
And to provide comparison, a high-speed lift deposits between 2,500 and 3,000 people an hour to a point. These lifts provide 1 to 200 people. So literally it's 1%, less than 1% of the same capacity, or maybe less than even 10%. And so you're getting very few people, but it is lift served. And I'll tell you, getting up and enjoy that terrain, especially Covered Wagon, people got to the very far permit of Kirkwood. And for some folks who had been there since the resort opened in the 70s, they'd never skied that terrain.
Yeah,
so it was really very exciting to open that terrain.
And exactly, and people get out and enjoy a little bit more, and it changes things up. Well, as we get ready, season passes going on sale now. Of course, all you hear these days is, you know, discounted off of normal prices, and there's quite a history involved with that as well.
Right. Back in 1991, 18 years ago this month, literally, Kirkwood started the very first pass. It was probably more out of a concern for cash flow at the time, when Kirkwood had went through some very bad times, very rough road back in the early 1990s. And in 1991, Kirkwood introduced the $199 midweek pass. And it was, of course, obviously a huge hit back then. And since that time, everybody else has rolled out those passes. This will be our 19th season offering a reduced price pass. And our sale, of course, ends on the 7th. What's interesting is that probably the biggest benefactor of season pass pricing is Lake Tahoe, is the locals. Because you have a situation where, in fact, you and I were talking a minute ago, you used to spend $1,000 on a season pass, and if that's in your budget still today, you're buying 3 passes. And so you're able to ski around a lot, take advantage of having a pass to go almost wherever you want, anytime you want. And so those pass prices, back in the early 90s, there were less than maybe 10 or 15,000 pass holders in Lake Tahoe. Now there's over 125,000 people that own season passes in the Lake Tahoe resorts.
That to me is the amazing number, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to remind you, because we did talk about that during the break a little bit. But that increase, and obviously the resorts benefit from that, because you get that crowd in there, and people love being around other people enjoying most of the time.
Yeah,
most of the time enjoying the mountains.
Well, it's been a great thing for the resorts because they develop early season cash flow, and it was a commitment that was made years ago, in fact 18 years ago, that people said, look, if folks want to in essence pay up front for maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 days of skiing and end up wanting to enjoy 40, 50, 60, 70 days, that's great. They bring their friends buy tickets, they become locals, they become really familiar with the resort and become spokespeople. And we enjoy almost 3,000 pass holders that live right here in South Lake Tahoe. So we're appreciative of it, and we try to reflect that with our great pricing.
Absolutely, keeps that road nice and clean out there. One other thing that you guys are involved with, or you specifically, is the Sierra Nevada College ski business program. Tell us a little bit about that over in Incline.
Right, Brian, I got involved there a few years ago, and Sierra Nevada College is a private liberal arts school in the shore of Lake Tahoe, beautiful campus. In fact, it's probably one of the most unusual places in the world that you can actually get a 4-year degree and live in a place like Lake Tahoe. And we have a ski business degree there that had about 25 students a couple years ago. We now have over 100 students, and it's the only 4-year business degree in ski business and resort management in the United States. And it gives a lot of young folks that want to get a degree in business. It's a Bachelor of Science in Business with an option in ski management. And we have a lot of great classes over there, and the classes are always very small. And this semester my classes are anywhere between 6 and 15 students. It's an incredibly beautiful campus, right on the shore of Lake Tahoe over there, right next to the Hyatt. And it's a great place to go to school and learn the business of skiing. And of course, one of the goals we have is to place people at the resorts, because face it, a lot of the guys who run resorts, like myself over the last several years, are getting older, and we're looking for that new fresh blood to come out and run our resorts.
Absolutely. Well, perfect. And of course, the main thing is we've got season passes on sale. Like you mentioned, there was a deadline. How can people get more information if they need to, or make their season pass purchase?
The deadline on this sale, which is our last of our summer sales, is Monday, Labor Day Monday. It ends at midnight. The website is Kirkwood.com. They can call 209-258-PASS, which is the local number out there, 258-PASS. And then also they can join us out there in person. The Labor Day weekend, we have the 5 and 10K. We have it every year. The great chili cook-off. We'll have a whole bunch of great chili out there. And it's a lot of fun to be out there. It's sort of the end of the summer for us at Kirkwood. So the sale ends on Monday at midnight.
Okay, perfect. Well, Chili Cook-Off's one of my favorite events of the year, so we've already got our group heading out there for that. Well, Tim, once again, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And right now we're going to give you the ad on the season pass sale out there at Kirkwood.